Ooh, ah, ah.
This is his process.
You getting into it?
Ooh, ah. Ooh, ah.
This is why I introed last time.
Welcome to the MoxStars. Yeah, spice it up. You never know what the crowd is going to love. Yo, what up? Welcome to the MoxStars podcast. My name is Evan Kunai, and I am one of your hosts this evening. I'm here with one of my colleagues, Jordan Garcia.
Yo.
And a special guest, Christopher Ritter, is out of the house. We have Kyle Morrow joining us tonight.
Hey.
Welcome, Kyle. We're so happy to
Welcome,
have you.
Kyle.
Thank you.
So happy to be here.
Thank you so much for actually stepping in and filling in for Ritter. You fill out his seat nicely.
Honorary
Thank
MoxStar today.
Well, today we're doing something special, and it's great that we have Kyle in the house for this because it's another edition of our Phyrexia All Will Be One set review. We're talking about White.
Yo.
And I know Kyle's got a hankering for little mommy action here.
I do love our little mommy, Elish Norn.
But
What's your vibe?
the way this all goes, we're not going to cover every single card in the color. We've each picked 2 rares or mythics and 2 uncommons or commons, and we're going to talk about each of those, and then we'll move on. There's plenty of cards to mention, but we're just going to pick the ones that really sing to us and talk about them, expand on that, create some conversation, maybe get off the rails a little bit, and that's pretty much it. So let's just get into it and talk about some rares or mythics or uncommons or commons.
Those are all the options. Kyle,
Yeah.
do you have a card you want to talk about?
Yeah, you want to kick us off?
Do we want to start off with the face of...
You can start low, you can start high.
Let's start high.
This is your show. You're
Elish
MoxStar.
Norn.
Well, our average listen time's 4 minutes, so let's just
Perfect.
get it right out of the way.
Clickbait. Elish Norn, mother
Broken?
of machines.
Ban this card? Question mark, question mark, question mark?
Question mark, please don't.
I already spent $150.
So, how do we do this? You have to go, this is a legendary creature, right?
Nailed it.
Phyrexian Praetor.
Casting
With
cost?
4 and a white. It has vigilance, and if a permanent enters the battlefield, causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. And the second portion that people forget about,
Always.
permanents entering the battlefield don't cause
Always.
abilities of permanents your opponents control to trigger.
I don't know what it is about that ability. It's just every single time someone tries to do something or they think they finally have an answer for it,
They don't.
they're just like,
Nope.
I got it, guys. Enter the battlefield, destroy it. No, enter the battlefield, tutor for a way to destroy it. No, you can't do it.
Yeah, you had God, what's the blue card that steals a creature from your
Oh,
library?
Gilded Drake.
Or no, from the library. It's that sorcery.
Oh, I had bribery.
Yeah, he had bribery in his hand, and I'm playing Writhe.
I was
and,
like, what dragon do you have that I can steal?
And he goes, do you happen to have a creature in your library that just happens to enter the battlefield and destroy all artifacts and enchantments?
You have 40
and
of them.
Elish Norn's on the battlefield, and I look at him, I'm like, no. What do
with
you
an
think's that going to
ETB
do
effect.
right now? What are you going to do?
Yeah. It's insane how many answers just get immediately shut off. And
Yeah.
the ones that you don't even think about. The answers get shut off. The value plays get shut off, which is it's a great freaking card. And then the other half of it is Panharmonicon for the same casting cost.
Exactly.
Yeah, this...
Broken, yes.
Yeah.
Love it, yes.
Why did they make it a 4/7? Again.
That's just weird.
Just got to keep it going.
It's they're like, remember Elish Norn, how good that was? Well, this one's got to be somewhat equal, right? So let's make it just as nasty with different effects. This one is I think that's been the concept with all of the Praetors and their design for this time around is that they're a stacks piece and they're advantage in some sort of way. This one really just
Amplifies that.
Yeah, blows the top off of all of them. Shieldred,
10 times better.
yeah, Shieldred's great.
True.
Right? Shieldred is going to run standard Pioneer for a long time. This might not do it because I think there's the Eternal formats that benefit Commander. This is a house. In that format, this is a house. It's going to shut down so much stuff. In Standard, it eats one removal spell and then it goes away for a while. You know, are you going to like lean into this strategy being like the thing your whole strategy revolves around?
You can't.
No, because it's
Can't.
5 mana.
It's 5 mana. When we played, you killed it 7 times.
Doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't
It just
matter.
gotta die.
It has to die. It's like Kinnan. It just has to die.
Has to die.
Yeah.
Like
it's
if you want to keep playing this game, it has to die.
like, what are some notable cards with this that just like pop off in Commander? Like On Thin Ice, one of them.
On thin
Boom.
ice.
Yeah. You built actually. So spoiler alert: Kyle built this deck for an upcoming episode that we're going to be recording, doing one of our deck workshops with Elishnorn. So we played it last week. What was your experience? What cards did you like?
On Thin Ice was
Crazy.
one of them, and any ETB effects that are similar
There's
to that.
a lot of those ETB enchantment, exile something.
Wedding Ring was
Wedding ring.
That was
surprisingly
insane.
Holy
just
shit!
horrible
Go read
to that
Wedding
game.
ring, and then think about having 2 of them. It is
Just drew everything, gained all the life.
We learned
absolutely insane.
we learned a lot about that interaction.
That was we thought it was gonna kill the game, but it just prolonged it even
Yes.
even more.
The game's so long.
That's what I feel like this card does, though. It doesn't really shuts off the game. It doesn't finish the game.
It amplifies your removal, which
Yeah.
doesn't get you closer to winning. It gets you closer to removing everybody's shit.
Yep.
And then it's also stacks piece while you're doing that. I totally feel it, but it's also just an aggressive value engine at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's why we're seeing it as the most expensive card from the set is because one, Commander, the most popular format out there, it's going to drive the market. And this, I don't like, that was the thing, I guess, when I saw it like released or spoiled or whatever you want to call it, is that when we saw it, no one was like, well, this just goes infinite with this. There was none of that. It just says, well, it shuts off every good value piece in the game and turns some things into insane value pieces like Skyclave Apparition.
Yep.
You know, it's
Charming
like,
Prince.
yeah, Charming Prince gets crazy, you know. So what was the Alliance card, the one that enters, you scry one, and if it's the second time it triggered, you draw a card?
Rumor Gatherer.
yeah, Rumor Gatherer.
Super good card just in general lately in white. And like this just goes crazy.
Yeah, as soon as a creature enters the battlefield,
Scry
draw.
one, draw a card
Yeah.
in mono white. Okay.
What?
I'll take that. You have to play a creature to do that? Okay. I think you're probably going to be playing a lot of fucking creatures.
Yeah, are there any creatures in white that enter the battlefield and create more creatures?
Oh my God. Yeah. It
Yeah.
goes 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Make all the the 1/1 white soldiers in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
Like-
keep it relevant to the current set. Mites. That's
Mites.
a new thing.
Yeah, there's all those, I guess a few commons, like Flyers is that one angel that creates 2 mites when it enters. So, yeah, the ETB, doubling ETBs has been notably a powerful effect. It is a lazy design.
Oh, it's
is-
super. Yeah.
This is almost the most powerful version of doubling that I think I've ever seen in the game.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, we're seeing like for the first time a lot of these stacks pieces having a huge upside to it, where it's instead of just a singular use, you are getting both edges of the sword.
Yeah, and it
And
doesn't.
this is just gassed.
Yeah, totally. And it's like it doesn't have double pips, which is another
Nope.
thing that really like is nails on a chalkboard for me when I see like from a design perspective is like this now goes into
Winota.
anything. Yeah, Winota. Anything
Winota
that
seems
wants-
pretty fucking good.
Yeah, then your whole package is just like creatures
ETB,
entering the battlefield because
non-humans.
she just cares about cheating them out.
Or ETB humans.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I just think about that and I just go, wow. You really did it. You really sold a lot of packs here.
Good job.
I feel like because of this card, like a mono white deck is now just creeping into other colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've been gassing it for over a year straight now, just trying to get white up to speed.
Yep,
And,
but now I feel like white is now the most powerful color. That's just my opinion.
No, I feel the same way.
I mean, yeah, it was a splash color for a long time, and now it is cementing itself as like, I don't think it's the best color singularly speaking, but it's possibly the best color to have as an addition, or one of the best colors to have as an addition.
I used to joke and say that white was the glue for my decks. That like I could build a Gruul deck, green red, and it could be strong and aggressive. But then as soon as you start adding white, it sort of glues together all these like strategies that I like to put together. Now it feels like green is doing that. Green is like the mana production that allows me to string together my red and white effects. Because to me, red is the most powerful color in the game, followed right next to with white. It's just like 1A, 1B now. because white is crazy, crazy, crazy powerful now. So,
That's true.
True.
Yeah, Jordan, what was the research you were doing earlier on? You were actually filling up your cart, and how many?
I was shopping
versions?
around, seeing what I wanted to buy.
Yeah,
and
how
I'm
many
like,
versions of this were there?
I was like, Evan, get this. Jace has 16 versions you can buy on Card Kingdom, including for just the Planeswalker from this one set, the singular Jace.
Just the one card.
Between non-foil and foil and the art cards, there was 16 versions on the list. And then I went over to Elishnorn, and there's 22 fucking options.
Yeah, there are.
There are 22 options for a card that came out 3 weeks ago.
How would you like your Elishnorn?
Every way.
Yeah.
And guess what? They're all $150.
I was about to say they're all $150 plus.
Talk
about a chase mythic, right?
Oh my
Wait,
god.
that's a lie. That's a lie. They're like $80 now.
There's
Let's be
still
real.
some that are 150. The like sketch foil is 150. The oil one is 150, and the Junji Ito's 200.
That's 200. Yep.
Yeah, I guess like the common sense in someone who is waiting for the market to settle would say, oh, more product is being opened, so this will eventually drop in price because the market will become saturated.
It did not.
It's like, no, this is still a mythic. It does not increase your chances. Like, just because there's 22 different versions does not increase your chances of pulling one. It just thins the pool out of like which one you could potentially get.
It decreases your chances of getting a specific one.
Yes. So like these aren't going to be, it's going to be hard to decide which one of these is going to be the most valuable.
I think the Junji's so hot right now in the Magic community. I think he's like, we all killed Seb, right? We all moved on from Seb. I think we're all in Junji's dick right now.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And Dominic Meyer. Don't forget Dominic.
Sure, there's some other great Magic artists right now. It's just like everybody just fucking feeding on some Junji product right now.
I feel like there's more on Elishnorn. Does anyone have any last thoughts?
We could go forever on Elishnorn. We are going to have an episode.
She's great.
We're having an episode coming out about her. Stay tuned.
Why did
Subscribe.
they give her vigilance again? Yeah, subscribe.
reason.
Subscribe. Follow, like, share, comment.
Let us know what you think about Elishnorn.
Sponsor
Woo!
us.
All right.
Jordan, you want to take the next one?
Yes, I do, because I got some good sheet I want to talk about, dude. I guess since we're starting off with gas, let's just keep gassing, and then we'll slowly get more boring as we go. That's just a great episode structure. I will talk about Skrelv, Defector Might. I'm pretty hyped about this card. On its surface, it's a Mother of Runes effect. It is a 1 white mana legendary artifact creature, Phyrexian Might. So you can have a Mother of Runes in the command zone if you want. It's a 1/1 with Toxic 1. It can't block, and then you can pay a white Phyrexian mana, so either 1 white or 2 life, tap it. Choose a color. Target another target creature you control against Toxic 1 and Hexproof from that color until end of turn. It can't be blocked by creatures of that color this turn. Okay, so I had to read it all because it is a little different than Mother of Runes.
Yeah, protection is a little different.
Protection's a little different. It helps with like some niche scenarios, like say damage-based board wipes. You can get around that kind of thing. But Hexproof and unblockable is pretty sweet.
I feel like they could have just given it the Giver of Runes line and then just been good with it, because like the Giver of Runes is another target creature. Mother of Runes is powerful because it can protect itself.
Correct.
So you have to waste 2 pieces of removal in order to get rid of the Mother of Runes or get rid of the most threatening piece on the board. That's where Skrelv, I feel like Skrelv is going to have purpose. Maybe. You think so in Commander?
Well, I have a very niche corner case scenario where I'm putting
Yeah.
it in my Osgear deck because I already have a Mother of Runes in the deck, and he cares about artifacts. The whole deck cares about artifacts. So it's easy enough to take a creature out for an artifact creature that does the same thing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't be blocked by specifically that color, so it might as well have the protection without a few corner case scenarios. It's a
Right.
little worse. The Toxic one does not make up for that. But if you play artifacts, it's just 100% better. You know, it's just kind of getting that like that mass of whatever your strategy is doing, and that just makes your deck synergize better. Like, hey, now you can get this with a Enlightened Tutor.
Yeah, if there's one thing to say about
like I've
Magic
gotta
cards
do
in
that.
general, every line of text matters, and the legendary part is going to matter in certain cases. The artifact part is going to matter in more cases, and then the creature part is also going to matter. Phyrexian Might, we don't know yet. It's the first creature ever printed with the Might like typing, like that isn't a token.
Right.
So I love the flavor of it because we've seen like all the mites. Like if you went to pre-release, you've done draft, you know what a mite is. Like you know that they're like 1/1 toxics, a toxic one that can't block. So it's great that they created like this legendary figure that can actually enable strategies, just like or allow you to get through with toxic damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Your things that can't block now can't be blocked, which is kind of fun.
In Osgear, it's insane because you can actually activate the ability and then activate Osgear, sacrifice this to boost him in power after damage has been dealt, or
totally.
before damage is dealt.
I could also tap him, make 2 more, 1 would die, but then I would essentially be able to use 2 effects.
Right.
Right.
Or no, you wouldn't be able to, state-based will take over. But
Right.
yeah,
right.
you still get like you're still playing like, what is it? The elixir that allows you to tap.
Elixir of Immortality and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can still use the effects as though they had haste.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton to talk about on this card. It's a Mother of Runes. It's an artifact creature, Mother of Runes, legendary with toxic, which is nothing.
Yeah, maybe we're getting a little long-winded
aight.
on it. Yeah.
But it's a freaking might. But I think it's just kind of interesting. And yeah, artifacts are good. So more artifacts is more good.
Yeah, let me follow up on that because one of my rares is Skrelv's Hive.
This is a way better card than what I just talked about.
I don't
Do love this card.
I don't know if it is.
It's definitely better than the card I just talked about.
It's better than Skrelv itself. Yes. Right? Okay. Well, I'll admit to that. It is better.
I know you're not hot on this card.
I know that I am. I was initially, right? Skrelv's Hive, 1 in a white enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature token with toxic 1, and this creature can't block. It also has Corrupted. As long as an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, creatures you control with toxic have lifelink. Whew! It's a lot.
A lot of words.
Because it is very reminiscent of another card that is very famous, loved universally, Bitter Blossom. It is a white Bitter Blossom that is right next to Bitter Blossom, I'd say, on the scaling of like cards that do this. But Bitter Blossom is just a little bit better. I think like
Flying.
yeah, flying and a blocker. Like I think we undervalue blockers from time to time, and the fact that this can't block.
True. That is very fair.
Yeah, it says you're leaning very much into like an aggressive strategy.
It's either you're sacrificing this or you're focusing on poison.
Correct. Yeah. So Skrelv's Hive in Commander, we overvalue Bitter Blossom. The card is far too expensive for Magic's most popular format. I see this and like think like, oh wow, this is like pretty great for someone who wants to make a toxic deck. Like this would be a great enabler because it gives things with toxic lifelink. Outside of that, waiting for it to go around the table, a full rotation between 3 other players' turns, just to get that little payoff of 1 little creature. Like if you have triggers that say when an artifact enters, boom, or when a creature enters, boom. Like I think this is
Rumor Gatherer we were just talking about.
yeah, the Rumor Gatherer right there. It's like on your upkeep, you're going to get that trigger if you're playing Elishnorn. It's like that's actually great synergy. But there are other cards that you probably could play that would have stronger synergies.
Yeah,
right?
I know you're
So-
saying that the Bitter Blossom is a little more powerful, and I was like, but this has a whole other line of text. It has the Corrupted part where you have to have 3 or more poison counters, and creatures you control with toxic have lifelink. But then I'm just like, all right, well then it's essentially Bitter Blossom, and instead of flying, it's lifelink, but with the caveat that you already have to have the 3 counters on it. And is lifelink better than flying on these 1/1s?
No.
Because
Straight up no.
the only other way you'd take more advantage of it if you were truly all in balls deep on a toxic deck, in which case, with 3 or more poison counters, creatures you control with toxic have lifelink. Yeah, so yeah, I guess if you are playing a 7/7 toxic creature with like toxic 8 or whatever in your deck, then sure, you can gain some life there. But like that is such a terrible scenario.
Tyrannex Rex.
Yeah, if you're playing a Tyrannex Rex deck in Commander, fucking kill me. Don't play with me. Yeah, I agree. Flying is better. Flying is 100% better.
On the flip side, though, I do love this card because it was in my pre-release box.
Nice.
I was super stoked on this.
Limited fucking cracked.
Yeah, because it won me every single game I played.
Of course it did.
I saw it every game, even if I picked it up turn 2 or 3, like off the top of the library, it still contributed because I had already started that clock, like the toxic clock. So like getting corrupted and then having this out on the battlefield just says, okay, good luck killing me because my life is now going to start bolstering itself. It turned the tide and it made my opponents hopeless on turn 2, like
Seriously.
most of the time. So I saw
Cracked and limited.
I saw
Absolutely
it-
fucking great.
Yeah, I saw it 2 different ways. I saw it as like, wow, on the greater scope of Commander, this does not a lot. But in limited, in draft, this card is gas. Absolutely wins games on its own. And within the set itself, I think that we've been saying like none of these cards really translate that well to many like Eternal formats. But this one in a limited format within itself in draft, holy shit, because there's so much toxic out there. Like I ended up building white black, and most everything in the set has toxic in white and black. It's currently what a lot of people are saying is the strongest deck that you can pick, like you can draft out of, because it's just so aggressive and it just mid games better than most other colors.
And starting to get lifelink in a 1v1 limited scenario that you've already been pushing all this damage. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, you can't block, so you're only rewarded for attacking. So
Also, shout out to the disgusting art on Scrolls Hive. I just actually looked at it for the first time. Like on the main art, it's all these like little mites like burrowed into this chest of a person.
oh, it is a person.
Yeah, it's
I thought it was like just a hill.
no,
Yeah, those like a
it's
mound.
inside of a body. It's disgusting. I love it. Love it. Shout out to who's the artist? Got to give credit. Oh God, I'm not even gonna try and pronounce
Good
that.
luck.
Look it up and give them credit. They're freaking great.
Come on, give it a shot.
Honwa.
There we go.
Nailed
All
it.
right.
Thank you, Kyle.
Think.
Shout out to that person.
All right, Kyle, what'd you pick for your second rare?
For my second rare, I went with Phyrexian Vindicator.
That's a mythic. I'm just kidding. I'm just
chose
kidding.
it last minute. I thought you said.
I mean, this
mythics.
is no, yeah, you're just joking. This is a card we have to talk about.
Yeah, we have to.
Yes.
Go ahead.
It is It cost white, 4 whites in total.
Super cash.
Creature, Phyrexian Horror with flying. It's a 5/5. With, if damage would be dealt to Phyrexian Vindicator, prevent that damage. When damage is prevented this way, Phyrexian Vindicator deals that much damage to any other target.
Yeah, it's pretty goddamn good. It's not as good as the Obliterator.
No.
I don't think,
No, it's not.
because sacrificing 1,000,000 permanents.
That's just rude.
It's amazing. It's amazingly awful.
It just loses. It loses to Obliterator too. Like
It does.
whatever effect it has, it's still dealing damage. And at last time I checked, Obliterator hates
Yeah.
that, or actually loves that.
Yeah.
So
Thrives on it.
Also, you delete with Obliterator, you pair it with like Tiergrid, and you're like, oh, thank you for everything.
yeah. You just make them sacrifice their boards. This is still great. I think that they're now going to start playing around with this idea of 4 pips. What can you do?
Yeah, no, I love it. And like we were talking earlier, we should have more payoffs for like low color decks so that 5 color nonsense bullshit, play all the best cards in the game, is like less of a viable strategy. And I think color pip restriction is definitely one of the ways you pursue that.
Right. This, like, you're definitely funneling yourself down to the mono white, unless you're playing like standard right now, which is crazy with like reanimation.
They
Is this
love that shit.
yeah, is this your reanimation target? Is it good enough? It reads like
No.
it's pretty freaking good.
I mean, it's pretty good, but if you're reanimating, I think I'm going for something higher than 4.
Yeah, even the green Dominus is a great target because it just like pushes through with so much freaking power. I would actually choose that over this, or I would just choose the Tyrannex Rex because it's gonna trample and infect for 4. So, or toxic. Sorry, infect's not in this set.
What are you even talking about?
Speaking of infect, the first thought I'd had with this is giving it infect.
Yo,
Yes.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it
I
just
like
becomes this nasty. Yeah, beater with
Say
infect.
any target. Okay, cool. I'll start picking people.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you're like the creatures that you hit with it, if you have to, just get smaller and smaller and smaller.
Exactly.
Yeah. I do love that actually. If you're able to give this infect with grafted exoskeleton,
Ugh,
this
love it.
turns into a really sexy card. I love it. Mm-hmm. All right. My next rare mythic, I picked Mondrak Glory Dominus because this card has quite a bit of conversation stirring around it. It is the most popular of the Domini that I think we've seen. Is
Dominaria? Just kidding. I made that joke last week. Got him.
It is 2/2 white legendary creature, Phyrexian Horror. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. That is actually the most important line on the card. It is 1 and 2 Phyrexian white, sacrifice 2 other artifacts and or creatures, put an indestructible counter on Mondrak Glory Dominus.
He's definitely the best Dominus, right?
Just
Oh, yeah.
flat out.
Okay, cool. I never want to talk about the green guy ever again. I just had him last week for the green set, and I also drafted him, and he sucked in my
Zopendral.
He's sucked in my draft. This is great for the Dominus cycle. I wish everybody would stop fanning the flame for these effects.
I don't like the hype.
Like, I don't like the hype. I don't like doubling season. I don't like this.
Okay, so let's just be clear that with all of the other Dominus, they required a very specific set of conditions in order to put a indestructible counter on it, right? Like the blue one, it says remove 3 counters from among other artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers. That's, you have to be like in that line. The black one, exile 3 creature cards from graveyard. Red one, discard 2 cards, and the green one is sacrifice 2 other creatures. This one is just like sacrifice 2 other artifacts and or creatures. Well, that makes it really fucking easy.
Mites are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mites, just sack them.
2
Yeah.
mites.
2 mites. There you go.
It's
Got
like,
your upkeep with the hive.
yeah, I'm really sort of disappointed in that line that they couldn't find anything more unique for it to achieve the indestructible counter. But here we are.
Again, we're shooting for right down center. Nice, a nice home run here. Like we're not trying to knock out of the park with the development.
Yeah. No, they're looking at this like, hey, if you bought a pack and you didn't have to pull an Elishnorn, well, good news. There's a clear runner-up in value. It's Mondrak Glory Dominus. Congratulations.
God, it's just so overpriced for this.
It is I forgot to say, it is a 4/4, so it is also like a pretty big body. A lot of these Dominus are going to punish you if they're able to get that counter. Like, it is just, it's going to be known. This thing is going to be really hard to get rid of because even if you're playing Commander where I think this shines, once it gets that indestructible counter, it might as well be Anointed Procession. Mm-hmm. That can punch you in the face for 4.
Yeah, notably, it is another effect in white because Anointed Procession was the only thing that was rivaling green with this ability. And so getting an additional one in white, I will say, is a nice boon. But I'm fucking tired of seeing this effect. Like, I just don't think we need to keep putting it on cards.
It's making me exhausted. Like, I am exhausted playing this game because of how many effects I see, like, with that. Or just...
It makes me think that they're exhausted. Are you tired of making Magic cards? Magic the Gathering? Because I'm just seeing the same fucking card over and over.
Yeah.
Best way to do it.
If you're out of ideas, I don't know, make less sets.
Yeah. Now, but... this card just tells me now that if I'm playing white in any deck in Commander, I now have to play Path to Exile and Swords to Plowshares and potentially other just unconditional exile target creature. And I'm not mad about that. It's very efficient removal, but it does like sort of dwindle your possibilities. There's just so many cards out there now that like Elishnorn is another reason why I would need to like play more of that. And this just kind of doubles down on that. If I'm playing
type removal,
if I'm playing against mono white now, if I'm in white and I'm playing against mono white, you damn well better mulligan until you get a Swords of Plowshares or something like that.
Yeah, and you can leave your Solitudes at home because that shit don't work.
Yeah. It actually, does that make those cards a little bit worse?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're trying to exile an Elishnorn, that's
Dang.
Happened twice.
Bro, this is awful.
On the flip side, if you have an Elishnorn and you have a Solitude,
Seems pretty damn good.
pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty damn good. God. It just completely flips the table. Kyle, what's your uncommon or common?
What was it? It was purely for the art.
Hit me.
Was Crawling Chorus.
All right. Well, now I gotta look it up
Or
because
as a common, it is 1 white, just a single white pip. Normal creature, Phyrexian Horror with Toxic 1. When Crawling Chorus dies, create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might token with Toxic 1.
Yeah, this looks like a
it is creepy.
Yeah, a piece you hang on the wall, like I don't know, a wall art that fell off the wall in the 70s and was left to mutate in the attic for a while, and then it finally crawled down the ladder.
It rolls like gold.
I
and
wish it
suddenly,
why is this not an artifact creature? Like,
that's the weird
it's
part.
literally a triangle.
Is it supposed to be like a portal?
I don't fucking know.
I don't know, but
It could have been an artifact creature.
yeah, that is not an organic shape.
I do like, it is just kind of a cheap body that creates a cheap body, which is great for like, sacrifice type strategies and stuff like that. Not to mention pushing out 2 Toxic 1 creatures for 1 mana. It's pretty hot. Like,
there's a lot of these effects just in general. Like we see in like every single set, there are effects that sort of emulate this, and they just decided to put a really creepy face on it this time.
yeah. Also, like in limited, like, getting out the 1 mana creature is great. And then so if you get out your 1/1 and they get out their 1/1, and then trading looks really bad because now you're left with a 1/1 Toxic 1.
And now this looks really
So
good.
yeah, the 2 bodies, 1 mana is not ever a bad thing, I don't think.
Yeah.
And also some creepy freaking artwork for a non-artifact creature.
Yeah. I wish it kind of had a alt art with just like, at least like, a little bit more.
Can we just get a textless version of this?
Oh, yes. I don't need to know what it says.
Yeah, me neither. I just want an extended
Essentially
textless.
doesn't matter what
Just
it says.
zoom in.
Yeah. Just specifically on one of the sideways faces.
Yes.
All right, Jordan, what do you got?
All right,
Uncommon.
am talking about Infested Flesh Cutter. One, I did pick it because of the name. It's sick. I will say, for as boring as the set is mechanically speaking, the flavor of the set is through the roof. I think they did a really good job. I just loaded the wrong card. I think flavor-wise, art-wise, lore-wise, they're killing it. It's just everything else-wise, I'm just not invested. But it is a 1 and a white artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0, and then whenever equipped creature attacks, not deals combat damage, create a 1/1 might. Has all the white might text, and then you can do 2 and a white to equip it. I think that's pretty damn good. I just think not having to deal combat damage like most of the swords like to do, just actually being able to swing in, making a body. It's something very much like white does. On combat, get value. I'm thinking like Adeline and stuff like that.
It's a crazy good card. Like,
It's really good. It's great and limited.
like costed fairly.
I think so, like maybe some commander decks. I don't know. We'll see. I just think it is very costed fairly. We've been seeing a lot of like huge equipment costs or like equipment activation costs and stuff like that, especially for some of the Mirrodin stuff. And then I saw this and I was like, pretty decent line of text and not really bad casting costs. Play it on 2, curve it out on 3. If you have a might on 1, I don't know, you can play this.
Yeah, all the instances of toxic, because it gives it toxic, right? Or gives the creature toxic? Or
No, but when
just
you attack,
creates?
you get the might with toxic.
Yeah,
That's the only.
it crits.
I wish it would not be broken if it gave it toxic 1.
Yeah, no, it would not.
I would have liked that.
It
Yeah.
should.
I would have liked to see that.
Yeah, like it's notably one of the only like non-4 Mirrodin equipments in the set. Like the only
Right.
other one I think is like the sword that at Mythic, but I think it's definitely worth it. There's also some vehicles splashed around in this set for whatever reason, but +2/+0, nothing to scoff at in limited. You
Seriously.
yeah, you turn a 1/1 into a 3/1, and all of a sudden it hits a way better card.
Right? You got a 2/2 flyer, now you have a 4/2 flyer that's crapping out 1/1s.
Yep. Good luck getting past that.
Yeah.
That's why this is good. Yeah.
Also, the art's sick. All these mites and creepy arts and stuff. I fuck with it.
Yeah, they're definitely like hitting the nail on the head here with all the artwork just being kind of like hopeless.
Yeah. Anything
Yeah.
that makes a mite is just, makes my skin crawl. And when I zoom in on it, I just don't like it.
All right, my uncommon, I chose Ossification.
Ooh.
It is one of the best pieces of removal from the set.
Mm-hmm.
It does the best thing that you could ask for in white, and that is when it enters the battlefield, it exiles target creature or artifact. Is that right? Here we go. It is enters the battlefield, exile target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls until ossification leaves the battlefield. Enchant basic land you control is the condition.
Okay.
So 1 in a white enchantment with that effect entering the battlefield seems important when you're playing in mono white. So if you're playing mono white, you're probably playing basic lands, if I'm correct. So this just sort of doubles down on that like on thin ice we were talking about before with Elishnorn.
Easier caveat though.
Easier caveat. Yeah. So
standard legal caveat.
You're gonna standard legal, and you're gonna hit that caveat, both caveats on thin ice and with ossification because they're basic snow lands. So you're gonna like if you're building the commander deck, you're just leaning heavy into the snow. You're gonna play all snow basics.
Removal everything.
Yeah. Elishnorn either loves or hates this, depending on what side of the table you're on.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about enchantments just in the game in general, that they're harder to hit than most other things right now. And like because there's so much to consider in the game. Like creatures are king. Like they're back on top. Artifacts right there too. And so what are you going to worry about? You're probably going to play removal that either says kill target creature, kill target artifact, or exile, or something non-land permanent, and which is where enchantments become vulnerable.
There's only so many slots in our decks for removal. You can't have targeted removal for every single thing that comes up either.
Right. And notably, as soon as you start stapling the condition of destroying target non-land permanent to a card, the cost goes up. So you're more than likely to play like more linear lines of removal instead of playing like the non-land permanent. So
towards the plowshare kind of thing.
Yeah, like ossification just comes in and it just takes something away for the whole game.
It's removal, yeah.
Yeah, it's likely you're never going to see whatever it hits.
Great in a Zur deck.
Yep. Yeah, great in a Zur deck. It's really good in a Zur deck. But I think it's just pretty much flat out one of the best pieces of removal from the set that you're probably going to see in some Enchantress builds across the table from you very soon.
Love to see it. All right, my last white card. I've saved the hype one for the end. I lied. It's sick as fuck. It's the Eternal Wanderer. 4 white. It's a 6-mana planeswalker, y'all. We're talking about it.
Thank you for talking about this.
It's absolutely my pleasure. I think people are hating because it was, heavy, thick-ass planeswalker, 6 CMC ain't nothing. But there's definitely a world where we get there. All right, and I think it's a lot more frequently than most people think. But let's get into it. It is a legendary planeswalker. Wow. 5 loyalty, that's what that is called. And then has a sweet static ability. No more than 1 creature can attack the Eternal Wanderer each combat. That's freaking awesome in 1v1. It is going to help keep her alive forever because, as most planeswalkers do, she also makes a body, which means you always have the blocker for that, which is awesome. So her +1 ability is going to be exile up to 1 target artifact or creature, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Is there an Elishnorn that doubles ETPs in this set? Shit. And you do it at the next end step.
Are you telling me she's working with Elishnorn?
Of course. Makes so much sense. There's a 0 activated ability. You're going to create a 2/2 white samurai with double strike. I think that's
cracked.
It is cracked, bro. People are not talking about getting a 2/2 double strike. It is going to eat whatever thing they want to send your way. And as long as they don't have flying or some shit like that, this guy's going to stick around for a long time. And then just shitting out a ton of 2/2 double strikes, 4 power each time is going to be insane. The neg 4 is also great. For each player, choose a creature that player controls. Each player sacrifices all creatures they control not chosen this way.
Yeah. It is... I read it and I just knew like right away. Like I love how everyone's brain works differently because like each one of these abilities has multiple purposes of utility, right? Maybe not just you're creating a 2/2 double strike for the 0, but like there are other forms of utility for that +1 ability. And when I think about this, I'm thinking about survival. I want to get value out of this if I'm going to spend 6 mana playing it. So when I read exile up to 1 target artifact or creature, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of that player's next end step, I'm thinking about removing my opponent's creatures, and if they lose it, until their end step. So they go a full turn without whatever card that you just exiled.
That's actually a great way of looking at it. I didn't even consider that.
So you remove the piece, like you can remove a Shieldred.
Draw all the cards you want for the turn.
Exactly. And then you just sit there and then you wait until their end step. It comes back and then you just exile it again.
That's hot.
You know, it's like, and then it just stays alive forever.
Yeah. No, I love that. And it helps you get in for attacks. What I think of when I see this card and when I read all its abilities is like it's a bottleneck. It creates a bottleneck for your opponent. You're either with the board wipe, neg 4, you're leaving them with one thing standing that can swing at you. Only the one and only thing that can swing at the Eternal Wanderer, which is great for when you have a 2/2 double strike samurai on board ready to block it. It is just a really good value engine, I think.
The amount of synergy that this card just has with the rest of the white cards.
Yeah, they
is
love it.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Neg 4. So the neg 4 for each player, choose a creature. There's been a little bit of conversation about this because they needed to clarify after they printed this line of text. There are only like 2 or 3 cards in the whole game that say choose. Most notably, it gets around hexproof. It does not trigger ward, and
It doesn't target.
And it does not target. So protections do not like help your creature in any way. So like that is another like thought you can take into consideration because it will come up at some point. I'm sure of it. But if you really like to know the nitty gritty of all the rules, that is also a neat little interaction that you can sort of bank on when you go to activate that ability.
Yeah, and I know you're talking about, this is kind of expensive and stuff, but you're saying that reanimation is a thing, and now we have repair and recharge in standard right now. It is a planeswalker reanimate.
This would just control the board. Like, I feel like this is a good target for it. If you're looking to mid-range out your opponent, like, this is crazy. And what is it? Comes in with 5. You're going to +1. Only one creature can attack it, so you got to punch it really hard.
You got to punch real hard.
You got to punch real hard if you're going to kill this.
And if you're in white, there's no way you're leaving a body on the other side that's big enough to do anything impactful with one attack.
Right.
Like, if you got a 5/5, that thing's fucking dead.
Yeah, or it's going to get exiled until your next end step.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not making the 2/2. Exactly. So, yeah, I think she's just going to be able to dance around the board, stick around for a long time, generate tons of value. I think we're seeing so many engines coming out in mono white right now. Obviously, we care about ETBs these days in white.
Yeah, people are giving it similar praise to Elspeth, Sun's Champion.
Yeah, well, time will tell if she's as good. I mean, the ETB definitely pushes her into more of a value engine component, but I think the neg 4 is not nearly as strong as Elspeth's.
Yeah, destroying all creatures power 4 or greater.
Yeah.
Seems good.
Especially when she makes creatures that fall under that threshold.
And she creates 4 of them.
Yeah.
So
she definitely wins in the combat category and the board wipe category.
Yeah.
I think Eternal Wanderer wins in value, though. That's all I got. Everybody feel Gucci about that?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have one last comment because I think it's
doesn't.
I'm not finished, okay? You settle down. I'm not done.
What you got?
All right. The last comment that we're going to talk about today, I have Incisor Glider. And this is a card I read when it was spoiled, and I said, wow, that's going to win a lot of games and might be a house and pauper. Because it's 1 in a white artifact creature, Phyrexian Construct, a 1/3 flyer for 1 in a white. It has Corrupted. Whenever Incisor Glider attacks, if an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. I think this card's really good. And it doesn't seem that good, but Anthem effects in combat, when you can have multiple triggers of it for non-legendary permanent, seems pretty good when you're limited or you're bottlenecked, so to speak, into playing Pauper. This is going to allow so much damage to get through because it buffs itself. So if you've got Toxic 3 or if you've got someone Corrupted, it's going to swing in and it's going to be a 2/4 that's really hard to kill at that point. And then everything else that if you have multiple Incisor Gliders, I think you're looking at 3-4 damage maybe.
All your mites are 2/2s.
All your mites are 2/2s, and that is a significant difference.
Yep.
The fact that it's a 2-mana common lord when you look at it on a very wide out spectrum here. It's also a lord that counts itself, which is very irregular. And it's also a 2-mana 2/4 flyer if you meet that threshold.
Yeah.
Which is also very irregular stat line.
Yeah.
I would say that this is one of the best costed payoffs for Corrupted, I think. Not as like maybe the best powerful like game-changing payoff, but I think the cost to payoff ratio is by far the best skewed because of this card. This card.
Yeah, it can single-handedly break parity. We saw it with that soldier from Brothers War, just the one white or the 1 mana with the unearth for 1 white mana that says when it attacks, target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
Yep.
Like this is like
Yoshin Dissident.
Yeah, Yoshin Dissident.
No, that's not right. I lied.
Or no, the
Yoshin Tactician, baby. Tactician.
I knew it was Yoshin something.
Yeah.
But this says Anthem for everybody.
Got a 2/4 flyer. That's just not nothing, bro. A 2/4 flyer that is, oh God, it's just buffing everything.
I felt like this was worth mentioning.
And you're totally right. If you're playing 4 of them in Pauper and they're all side by side hand holding, this is going to be insane.
Yeah, you like to create token copies of things? Ba-boom!
Yeah, that's pretty hot.
Kind of wish I had Toxic.
Yeah,
I wish I had Toxic too.
But its payoff is big. If it had Toxic 1, it'd be kind of wild.
Yeah, that would be not a common anymore. I would hope, but we'll see what 6 months from now looks like.
Yeah, well, the power creep is real.
All right, guys, I think that about does it for our white set review. Do you have any last notes?
This was probably the most anticipated color to talk about. It's a week after release, and it's just been like so crazy to watch it how it's all like shifting and moving. But this is the most anticipated color because it is built around Elish Norn. So
it feels like this whole set was built around white.
Yes.
It was all built around Elish Norn.
Yeah. Like
beautiful mommy.
ETB
love
is
her.
white, just seems super synergistic and pushed in a very generic way, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just like definitely it just seems like that's what their mind was on.
All right, yeah. I have nothing more after beyond that.
All right, y'all. Well, we'll see you for our very last episode. Kyle will be joining us for our colorless and multicolor episode.
If you guys would like to follow us or subscribe, feel free to do so down below. You can find in the description our link tree to our Instagram, our Discord server, all of that good stuff. And feel free to leave a comment below. We'd love to interact, and we would love to have more guests on for set reviews.
Freaking do it.
So comment below if you're interested, and we'll work something out. We'll contact you.
All right, guys. The MoxStars podcast. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.